Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be sharing with you my experience of what is it like to study game design and development. Currently my third year of game design and development. I'm not a professional yet, but I feel like I have a bit of experience that I would like to share with you guys. And the real reason why I'm making this video is because back in the day when I was looking to get into game design, I was doing my research, but I couldn't find anything. You know, when you only find like the typical Wikipedia page telling you some useless information. Yeah, that was all I could find back in the day. Also, I wanted to find someone who could tell me from their own experience what was it like to study game design, what to expect, what not to expect. But again, I couldn't find anyone. So here I am making this video. So hopefully this is not boring and it can be some sort of helpful for you if you're thinking of getting into game design. If you have any question, if you have anything that you want to ask me about game design or anything in general, just drop me an email or send me a DM or whatever. I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. And yeah, let's get right into it. So I'll be telling you guys everything from the point that I decided to study game design till now. I'm going to try to be as brief as I can because I don't want to be boring, but I don't want to miss out on any important information. I also feel like this could be a good way for you guys to get to know me a bit better since this is going to be my first video. Also, I will be talking about the important stuff like the tips, the tricks, and my personal advice for you guys. So yeah, a couple of years back, I was studying fine arts. I was doing my bachelor's in fine arts, and I was definitely not happy. The reason why I was studying fine arts is because back in Calgary, we don't have any game design and development program. So the closest thing was to either study fine arts or design and then get into something game design related after graduation, or going to computer science, but I was not sure if computer science was for me because I wanted to explore more like the graphic part of game design, game art, concept art, 3D modeling, those things. So yeah, I've always been really artistic since I was a little kid. all I do all I've been doing honestly is just painting, drawing, and playing video games. I remember that my idea of a perfect weekend was to go home, do nothing, play video games all day, draw, paint, and have the time of my life. Um, for me, playing video games was more than just playing. It was kind of like exploring my creativity because every time that I used to play a game, I remember like having my little sketchbook and like drawing bigger maps, or maybe just like adding more challenges or adding more to the story of the game or creating more characters. And it was like playing but also creating, and I don't know, it was fun because I was able to transport into kind of like a different world and at the same time do my own thing without being judged. I don't know, it was really interesting. But I've always been really fascinated about the graphics in video games. Like, that's the number one thing I see when I'm playing a game. Of course, like now I see more things, but back then I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like how people are able to like make something like this, you know? So I always thought one day I could be able to create my own video game, but being a child, you don't really know much about um, university degrees and like careers and stuff like that, so I didn't know that game design was a thing. But then, growing up, I started doing my research and I found out that game design is a thing. So since that moment till now, I've always been like, I want to become a game designer. Of course, in Calgary, we don't have many university programs related to game design, and I don't think we have not even like one university program related to gaming. But as I said before, I thought maybe I could, I don't know, do something at 8CAT and then do what I want to do. So my experience studying fine art was really interesting. I met a lot of cool people, but I was not feeling it. I was feeling depressed. I felt like I was wasting my time, my money, and my energy in something that I didn't want to do. So a lot of things happened, and I ended up talking to my parents, and they always knew that I wanted to do game design. They were super supportive, and they were like, well, if you're not happy, if this is not working out for you, maybe just like take a semester off, um, do your research, try to find a school somewhere else, ask for student loans, work, um, and then you'll figure it out, you'll find a way. We trust you, kind of thing. So I took a semester off and I started doing my research. I found a couple of schools in Canada, and the cheapest one that I could find was in Montreal. So I started applying and like finding where to stay and trying to do my research prior to like going there. So during that time, I was not going to school, but sorry, my phone died. So my plan was to save up money, ask for my student loans, and move. Started working at Best Buy. I had the best time of my life. I fucking swear, like that's one of the best jobs I've ever had. No kidding. The people that I was working with, they were all super nice. I was selling video games and I was selling cameras, so I felt like, I don't know, I was doing something fun. It was cool to go to work and like recommend video games to people, or like just talk about games with clients and stuff like that. Um, Also, I know this is gonna sound corny as fuck, but I remember going every day to work and, going into the gaming aisle and being like, okay, one day I'm gonna have my own fucking video game here at Best Buy, and I'm gonna be like, wow, I fucking made it. I know it sounds corny as fuck, but that was one of like, I don't know, it was a way to motivate myself to keep on working and like saving money. So yeah, I saved up, I asked for my loans, and I moved to Montreal. And wow, that was life changing. It was amazing. I don't regret anything. It was the first time me living on my own, being independent, don't relying on any type of money, coming from my parents. So it was scary, but it was a really good experience. School wise, I was not happy with that school. I went to one of the well known, well advertised game design schools in Montreal, and it was not cheap. It was the cheapest I could find, but it was not cheap. And the education that I was receiving was so fucking mediocre. I'm not kidding you guys. It was so bad. I remember even going to school and sometimes teachers don't even showing up. And I was like, well, I'm paying all of this money for nothing, basically. Um, some classes were fine, some others were like meh. But it was my first time really getting into the gaming world, getting to know people who were in the industry, and also getting to know people who were kind of like-minded. So it was good, but I was not happy with my education whatsoever. There was also some other things happening. I know it's gonna sound silly as fuck, but there was a guy who was always making fun of me because I was one of the only girls in the class, and for him, like, that was fucking shocking. Wow, a girl studying game design, that's like, wow, that's so fucking weird. So he used to like bully me, and I was not having it. Um, I'm normally a very chill person. I don't give a fuck about anything, honestly. But there was a point during that time that I was there that I was so sensitive. I was moving, I was living on my own, I was away from my family. Montreal is not close to Calgary at all. I was being independent, and there was that fucker like messing up with my emotions too. So there was a lot of things. Um, I think if my education was good enough, I would probably not even pay attention to that guy. But there was so many things that were not making sense at that point that I was fed up. Um, so yeah, I was paying a shit ton of money, and the semester was gonna end, and I was like, well, I don't have 40 extra K for the next semester. It's either me asking for more student loans or me finding a better and cheaper program somewhere else. And I was frustrated again. I was working and I was going to school. I was translating a book for this guy. um, I remember just like going to school, then getting to work, and it was insane because we would work together from like 5, 6 p.m. till midnight to translate a book from Spanish to English. And, I was trying to make my coin, I was trying to get my education, I was trying to figure shit out, but it was all so frustrating. Um, I applied to a bunch of universities in Montreal, public universities, something that I could afford, couldn't get in. I was losing my shit. And one day I talked to one of my closest friends in Montreal. She is from Spain, and she was telling me that she was paying nothing, um, almost nothing for tuition fees, and that maybe I should look up Europe because apparently, according to her, they did have a lot of programs, a lot of game design programs for cheap. So I started doing my research again, and she was right. She was very right. I found a couple of good university programs here in Europe, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to move that far. I really want to become a game designer. Um, Honestly, down to risk anything that I can, but moving to Europe is going to be a big move for me. So after talking to my parents again, they were like, well, if you feel like that's going to be good for you, and if you feel like you are going to get the right education, um, then just go for it. And honestly, you guys, for me, education is like really important. And if I'm going to invest in something, it better be good. I'm not going to pay 40K for something that I feel like is mediocre. Um, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I applied to, I think, 2 different schools, one in Belgium and one here in the Netherlands. And I got accepted right away to both of them. And I was like, fuck, okay, this is happening. Um, I worked for a little bit, asked for my student loans, and I moved again. This time, it was all good. Coming to Europe was the best decision that I've ever made. Of course, living abroad on your own, it's kind of harsh sometimes because you miss your family. You don't have anyone to rely on while you're in another country. I didn't know anything about the Netherlands. I didn't know any Dutch, anything at all. It was my first time coming to this country, so it was a scary experience, but it was totally worth it. Um, I remember going to my first day of school and being so excited, like finally I'm gonna study game design, I'm gonna do this and do that, and I had like all this like game concepts in mind, and I thought, because they told me that they would count my credits from my university back home, and they didn't. So basically, I had to start from day one, year one. So it was like redoing some things that I did back in Montreal, back in Calgary again, which was hella frustrating. But then I was like, fuck it, I'm already here, might as well. And in reality, that was good because um, there were so many things that I didn't know um, before about game design, especially because my university here, they offer you so many things, not only game design related, but um, you need to take business classes and ethics classes and so many other things that kind of complement the degree, that it was good for me to start from year one. Um, but yeah, um, one thing that I really liked about this university is the fact that my teachers were all super nice, super supportive. Nobody will take shit from any other student. You know, like they don't let you have a hard time at school. They're really there for you. So it was very good from day one. It was amazing. Um, Coming to this country was an experience. I'll probably make a video talking about that because that was something completely new for me. But I don't want to get too off topic. Um, so, um, some of the things that I would advise you if you're thinking on getting into game design is to come with an open mind and know that this is going to be really competitive. You need to come prepared to be competitive. There's always someone who is willing to do more than you, who is more passionate, who is more talented than you, and that's a reality. So you need to know that you need to kind of like stay ahead of the game all the time. Um, Also, you need to know how to take criticism really well. There's always someone who is going to criticize your work no matter what. And at the very first beginning, I was like, fuck, like, they're going to talk shit about my games. I've spent like so many hours working on this game, and there's going to be people talking shit about it. Like, fuck it. But in reality, you need all the criticism um, so you can improve your game and you can make something even better. So keep that in mind. There's going to be a lot of people saying good things and bad things about your game, but don't take it too personal. This is how it is. This is a very competitive industry, as I said before, so you need to know that feedback is always needed. The number 3 thing that I wanted to say is that if you're really thinking that studying game design will be playing video games all the time, honey, it's not like that. Trust me, like, you won't have time to play video games. Probably the only game that you'll play will be yours when you are like play testing, because we don't have time. We don't have time. Some of my friends, I don't know how they do it. They do find time every now and then to like play some games. Sometimes if I have free time, I will play. But don't think that you can go to school and just play, because I've seen so many of my classmates going to class, playing fucking League of Legends during the lectures, and then when it comes to the moment to create a fucking game, they don't know what to do because they were so busy creating League of Legends, because they want to create the next League of Legends, but they don't know how to create the next League of Legends. So please keep that in mind. Studying game design requires a shit ton of practice, and you need to be focused. So just a little tip for you guys. And another thing that I wanted to say is that creating games doesn't happen from a day to another. I was coming into this degree ready to start like making the next Zelda, but bro, you gotta start with like baby steps. Um, don't expect your first video game to be the greatest ever, because probably it'll suck, it'll be shit. Mine was fucking bad. Um, but you'll be progressing and you'll be creating even better things with time, so be patient on yourself. Um, Sorry guys, my phone died again. I need to find a solution for this because it's driving me crazy. Um, but what I was saying is that if you're planning into getting into game design, you need to learn how to say things. You need to learn how to be um, respectful towards others' ideas, because sometimes you want to give feedback and you don't know how to say it, and people will end up being mad at you because like fuck, you just like insulted my work, you know what I mean? Like we all put time and effort into creating something, and my vision is not going to be the same as your vision, you know? So probably some things that I do won't be what you like, but if you can give me feedback in a respectful manner, that can help me tremendously to improve my work. So feedback is always needed, but be careful in the way that you say it. um, what else? Another tip that I would give you is that if you're studying game design, um, it would also be helpful to learn how to do some business stuff, especially marketing, how to promote your game and stuff like that, because we all want to create a game that is going to be profitable. So try to also get involved into like some marketing, some business, trying to find maybe a degree that offers you some business classes like my degree. Um, I didn't think that it was gonna be like that helpful at the beginning, because I was like, oh fuck business, but then I was like, okay, this is really needed, and I ended up doing a minor in economics and marketing because I feel like that can help me take my games to the next level. So do that. And yeah, what else? Oh, this is really important because as you guys um, saw before, like I was telling you guys my story about going to Montreal, going here, going there, blah, blah, blah. If you really want something, I know this is gonna sound corny as fuck, but if there's a will, there's a way. I know sometimes we feel like defeated um, when we don't have the money to do something, or like we have people that don't believe in our vision and don't get like why we want to do something, especially like parents that they don't really understand what game design is, or maybe you don't have the money to study game design, like what happened to me before. um, you'll find a way. Like going to this like expensive schools and like finding all of these like expensive programs sometimes is not like the best solution. um, Especially those degrees that offer you to like get you a diploma within a year of studying game design, like oh you'll be ready to work at Ubisoft with, like no. um, they promise you a lot of things, but in my opinion, studying game design is constant practice, constant learning. So you will know things, probably you'll know the basics, but in order for you to create something mind blowing, something that you feel like, wow, like this is it will take you time. Therefore, in my opinion, those like fast paced, fast track university programs for game design doesn't always do the job. Trying to find something, maybe if in your city you cannot find a game design and development program, go into computer science. If you don't like computer science, maybe just go into character design or learn some things or make use of the internet. Um, I'm super sure that you can learn a lot. Um, through the internet. You sometimes don't even need to get a degree to become a game designer. Of course, in my opinion, it is worth it. But we are all students, you know what I mean? Like, we are all struggling in this shit. So um, you could either save up, work, student loans, and get where you want to get, or do it at your own pace, find something kind of related in your city, start studying that, and then you will be evolving into what you want to become. So yeah, make use of online resources, trying to find as much information as you can. There's a really good book called Level Up. I will link it down below. It's kind of like a complete guide that will teach you everything that you need to know about game design. So maybe it could be a really good read if you're still struggling to understand the gaming industry. Um, but yeah, as I said before, if there's a will, there's a way. I wanted to tell you guys my story because I've been struggling so fucking much to get where I am, and I'm super proud of myself for risking and for believing in my vision and to sticking with my goals, because that's something that sometimes I struggle with. Tomorrow I will start my first day at a gaming company. I'm doing my internship, so it feels kind of surreal telling you guys everything from that moment that I decided that I wanted to study game design when I was studying fine arts till now. Um, I'm super excited, and I hope you guys can make it too. You guys will make it too. There's no doubt. You just need to be patient. Um, and of course, I'm not where I want to be in the gaming industry yet. Like, I want to have my own company and everything, but we'll see how it goes. Um, so yeah, I'll be making also a video that I think it's gonna be more helpful than this one, um, telling you guys cheap university programs for game design around the world. Because as I said before, I did a lot of research and I found really good programs, and that could be helpful for people like me who were struggling to pay tuition back then, that really want to get into game design. So yeah, that's exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now. I feel like I've been talking for the past couple of hours. Um, so yeah, I'll be making more game design related videos, also like more personal ones, since now I'm living abroad. I want to document my experience. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.